Say we should listen to the Trap Geek joint. Let me see it. Let's see. Somebody brought up Trap Geek on here before. I've never watched a video of. I think it's a person. It's a person, right? It's a group. I've never watched a video of his, but we could watch it now.
Lot that October afternoon where the shots flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Islands.
Alright, what's up everybody? Probably the most requested artist for me to make a video on right now is Pooh Shiesty. It's one of the biggest movements in rap and it's coming out of Memphis, but for a lot of folks, it feels like he came out of nowhere. Last week, Shiesty was second only to Drake for the most streamed artist in the country. There's a reason everyone's drawn to him. Pooh Shiesty's crew, Choppa Gang's gotta be one of the wildest in the industry, and the music reflects it. Doesn't matter how many billboards all over the country have his face on it. Doesn't matter he's signed to a major label deal with Gucci and Atlantic, selling 60K the first week on his debut album. Shiesty will still rob a dude in Miami who was trying to sell him weed and some Jordans, stick 2 shooters on the guy, sending him to the hospital, escape in a green McLaren, get arrested, bond out, and leave the state in a private jet.
Saying the two left the state in a private jet. Who, they got the right guy?
See, Shiesty keeps his circle small. You basically gotta give your life to Choppa Gang just to be around. Choppa Gang Hank, he's locked up for an attempt murder, allegedly shot up a car and paralyzed a dude in a bad case of mistaken identity. Choppa Wop, he's down for a murder and 2 attempts. Even Shiesty's best bro, Big for an attempt murder, allegedly shot up a car and paralyzed a dude in a bad case of mistaken identity. Choppa Wop, he's down for a murder and 2 attempts.
First telltale signs I can tell a nigga's a real nigga, out of shape. When a nigga built like a refrigerator, you know he's a shooter. Facts. Let me tell you this. The shooters are usually extra skinny because they, like, I don't know what it is. Niggas is lactose intolerant, or they're just shaped weird. You feel me? It's just 2 of them. It's two bills of a shooter. A shooter is either skinny as fuck, you see every rib, that you know he can't fight, period. I've never seen a buff shooter. Let's be honest. Have you ever seen a buff shooter? That nigga look like Debo and he shoots. I've never seen it. It's 2 bills. He looks like that, or he's skinny as a motherfucker. You can see his heart beating through his chest. You know he ain't boxing. I've never seen a buff shooter in my life. I've never been like, yo, and Grimy Savage. Grimy Savage got a 10-pack. I've never seen that before. Let's keep watching.
Bro, Big 30, who was signed to a deal way before Shiesty was, getting tens of millions of streams a month. He got booked 2 weeks before Shiesty did on felony drug charges in Alabama, got extradited back to Memphis for another pending case he was already fighting, made bond, and released the song first day out. But most of the mainstream was not tuned in until Lil Durk and Shiesty came together to make the song Back in Blood. And while most fans were focused on Durk in the wake of the Quando and Vaughn situation, the entire city of Memphis was focused on Shiesty's verse. Because he wasn't just rapping, Shiesty was talking about a specific event that happened where he and 2 members of his crew went to a rival house in Memphis and robbed a bunch of guns from them. That's why in the lyrics he says, yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood. On the song, Shiesty's talking directly to them.
We ain't mad, Scott. We want you to see this face. You nigga know who it was did that to y'all. You nigga know.
The rival gang's called EBG, and them and Shiesty have had problems for many years locally in Memphis. EBG being from the north, Shiesty being from the south, it plays into this divide.
Did this motherfucker just crack the case? Yo, write that down. Yo, what the fuck? This nigga just cracked the case? Holy shit.
that's long existed in the city. But now the Back in Blood song is worldwide, hitting the number 8 spot on Billboard charts, getting 50 million views on YouTube in 1 month, forcing EBG, who aren't even rappers, to respond over the same Back in Blood beat.
The real Choppa gang.
Their remix got taken down a bunch of times, each time getting hundreds of thousands of views in days. So EBG dropped a second diss track, this one called Rumors. They even got Quando Rondo to make an appearance, taking collateral shots at Dirk just for being on the original song with Shiesty. Now, we're gonna get into all this, but first, check out my song of the day. This is some motivation from my guy K Johnny. Let's go.
To the point I don't give a fuck no more, just thought I should fucking mention.
Alright, right now, Memphis is like the gold rush for artists. Everybody's getting signed. And the reason is to it than good music and good barbecue. Memphis is the heart of the Bible Belt, with more churches than gas stations. On one hand, it's that southern hospitality, home of friendly folks who work hard to get by, but on the other hand, it's extreme violence, making Memphis the third most dangerous city in America. It's rural country, so practically everybody's tooled up, and folks have paramilitary weapons. In areas like the South or North Memphis, your life expectancy is 20 years shorter than other parts of the city.
Right now, in some neighborhoods in Memphis, families are sleeping on the floor to avoid being hit by gunfire from outside. For some, they live in a war zone.
For Pooh Shiesty, he's from the Cane Creek Apartments in South Memphis, just 15 minutes from Moneybag Yo's hood, the Walker Homes, not far from Young Dolph's neighborhood in Castalia, and black youngsters around the way too. Pooh Shiesty growing up was very much on that killer be killed energy. Let his boy Big 30 tell you, at age 11, Shiesty thought he was American gangster, getting
Big 30?
arrested and expelled from middle school at the same time, forced to wear an ankle monitor. See, Shiesty followed in his pop's footsteps. Pooh's father was a
What
the same time, forced to wear an ankle monitor. See, Shiesty followed in his pop's footsteps.
Is this nigga wearing an ankle? Oh my god, my keyboards are foul. This nigga wearing an ankle monitor at 10?
Pooh's father was a gangster.
Oh my god. My keyboard fucked up.
Artist who went by the name Miscellaneous got into a triple shooting at Yo Gotti's birthday bash. The club managers knew that Yo Gotti and Miscellaneous were beefing, and instead of canceling the event, they hired 35 security guards using 4 metal detectors to screen the crowd. It didn't work. That same year, Shiesty's father was convicted of being an accessory in the murder of a local female DJ, which put him on supervised parole. Even with the law breathing down his neck, his pops was still hustling for almost a year, bringing in money under the radar from a trap house on a street called Porter. The house fell on a dead end and looked like it had been abandoned. But little did Pooh's father know, Memphis police had been monitoring the spot for months. One day, his father was in there. They had the measuring cups by the stove, the digital scales on the kitchen counter. One of them had weed, the other had cocaine. Suddenly, there was a loud boom as the front door busted open, and cops bursted in, rushing apartment 3 that was just up the stairs. As the cops ran up, this 75-pound pit bull came sprinting around the corner and leaped at their necks, so the officers shot it 3 times before the dog retreated to the kitchen and later died. In the chaos, you could hear yelling, "Go, go, go," as people ran from apartment 3 to apartment 4, trying to escape. Glass shattered.
Is this nigga telling a fucking horror story or what? This nigga look like he got his facts in a row.
As folks jumped.
Is this one of my kids? This nigga good.
Jumped out the window, leaving Pooh's father in the kitchen, cornered by police. They told him to surrender, and he did, leaving the officers with 12.5 grams of coke, 8 pounds of kush, and $10,000 cash that they took from Pooh's father's left pocket. With his pops in and out doing Fed bids, Shiesty was running around a badass little kid, jumping people, finessing people. That's how he got the name Shiesty. And Memphis is a small world, everybody knows each other. Shiesty even went to Central High School with some of the people he's into it with right now, like the main rapper from EBG, E Jizzle. But Pooh's reputation began to travel. In high school, he expanded his circle, clicking up on some plans to get money by any means. Together with his childhood friend Big 30 from Whitehaven, Little Hank Ant Wop, and a few others, they came up with the name Choppa Gang, and it stuck.
Choppa Gang shit. Choppa Gang shit, man. Choppa Gang shit, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. We ain't got a prop to crop out here. We real, we slugging shit. Nigga ain't gonna die. We gonna come chop nigga whole block, street, whatever.
Within Choppa Gang, they have various members that come from big sets that are prominent in the area. What a lot of people don't know, Memphis has every single national gang and more. It's extremely active, with this new trend towards hybrid gangs, smaller mobs and cliques within the sets going renegade, warring with each other.
See where there was an older person running everything, but it's been changing a lot, and a lot of these young kids with these offset groups, they're totally different.
More little cliques or little gangs that seem to be particularly violent and need less and less of a reason to resort to shooting the gun.
One story of a guy named White Grape, or White Boy Kenny, who went to Central High School with Pooh Shiesty and them, and was known for having girls lined up like a buffet. He was a member of Choppa Gang who got initiated into the Grape Street Crips. They beat the shit out of him, took a photo that went viral as he became an official Grape Street member, but one day, White Grape allegedly got his gun robbed from him, so Choppa Gang had to cut ties with him, basically disowning him. Only for White Grape to catch a murder case months later after a drug deal went wrong and clients tried to pay him with counterfeit money, so he shot and killed one of them. Now, Choppa Gang continued spreading their enterprise, planning bigger licks that brought more danger. Shiesty himself says before the age...
How does this nigga know this shit? Listen, man. This nigga is good, but this nigga is doing a lot. This nigga reporting on the white boy from the gang who got his ass beat and his gun took? The fuck? I fuck with him, though. I fuck with him. I was just saying. Me, I would have kept it like, if you're not the rapper, I'm good. I don't need to know your story. This nigga know everybody's story. This nigga had the picture of the white chick who died. What the fuck?
Age of 15, you're gonna lose a close friend in Memphis. Guaranteed someone close to you is gonna get killed. Around 2016, he lost his best friend Trey, which turned his heart cold. Pooh Shiesty vowed to live with no remorse from that day forward and be a menace to society. And after he graduated high school in 2018, Choppa Gang had many streams of income flowing in, and they started using some of this money they were making to pay for studio time.
I just turned up. You said brrr.
It was one of those rare cases where the music blew up out the gate. They dropped their first song, Breaking News, near the end of 2018, and by 2019, they were buzzing. Shiesty's childhood friend Big 30 got signed to fellow Memphis artist Moneybagg Yo. Meanwhile, Shiesty was still a free agent, dropping his singles every other week, racking in views. This caught the attention of Guwop, who was in the middle of building his 1017 roster, looking for the grimiest artists he could find. Of course, Guwop was the original slime. You remember hearing stories of a young Gucci Mane terrorizing the industry. Famously, the first time he met French Montana to do a song together, French paid him $5,000 and waited in the studio patiently while Gucci took the money and left out the back door.
Gucci didn't like French because the first time he went to the studio to do a song with him, he paid Gucci $5,000 to get on the feature, and he was just sitting in the studio, but Gucci was going off the back. Doing nothing. And I said, Gucci, you can't do no shit like that.
And that's the same energy Gucci saw in Pooh Shiesty. After hearing one song on YouTube, he hit up Pooh on IG to get the paperwork ready for a major label deal with Atlantic. Choppa Gang was laughing to the bank, the industry fucked up and let some real gangsters in. Big Scar, who's also from South Memphis and just happens to be Pooh Shiesty's cousin, he's a founding member of a clique called Double R that's been in a brutal war at home in Memphis for quite some time. And up until this point, Big Scar was strictly in the streets, handling business, and never really considered himself a rapper. Until one day, he actually blew up off a reaction video done by a YouTuber named Tommy Craze, who reacted to Big Scar's first ever song when it had only 5 views in 9 hours.
How about Big Scar, make a play, 5 views 9 hours ago. Man, that was so hard. Definitely co-sign this track. Big Scar, make a play, go and check it out.
That song went on to do millions of views, and 2 months later, after Shiesty became a major label artist, and with only 2 songs ever published, his cousin Big Scar inked a deal with Gucci, making Choppa Gang and their affiliates the single biggest movement coming out of the Mid-South. And with all this attention on Memphis, it brought more drama to the city. Pooh Shiesty was living up to his name and began taking shots at another Memphis rapper named Big Boogie.
Where you at, Big Boogie? The Boogster. Where you at? Hey, Boogie, hey, Red Ron, I would get out there in the street with your gang, me by myself. The whole gang right now, today, in like 30 minutes, on live, all this shit. Why you say something back, cuz? You did that out of your fans, cuz. You let your fans boot your head up, cuz. You done cost yourself. You got shows and shit ahead of you, bro.
Boogie's a rising artist out of Fraser, which is the north super country part of Memphis. Seems like a good guy. According to Boogie, they never met a day in their life, but Shiesty claims when he pulled up in the north to see Boogie, it was a whole different story.
Oh, you been running from me, bro. You been running. You been running from me, bro. You know what happened in the north, bro, when I pulled up, came on your side, bro. You know what happened.
And Pooh is so petty, he even went as far as naming a strain of weed Red Rum, after Big Boogie's crew, Red Rum, just so he could say that he's smoking on that Red Rum pack. And the bigger you get, the bigger the target you become in Memphis. Just a few days after he went back and forth with Shiesty on social media, Big Boogie's concert in Mississippi got shot up. It was the scene of a double murder. 50 shots in total were fired from 5 different guns, hitting Big Boogie's friend.
You did that out of your fans, cuz. You let your fans boot your head up, cuz. You done cost yourself. You got shows and shit ahead of you, bro.
Boogie's a rising artist out of Fraser, which is the north super country part of Memphis. Seems like a good guy. According to Boogie, they never met a day in their life, but Shiesty claims when he pulled up in the north to see Boogie, it was a whole different story.
Oh, you been running from me, bro. You been running. You been running from me, bro. You know what happened in the north, bro, when I pulled up, came on your side, bro. You know what happened.
And Pooh is so petty, he even went as far as naming a strain of weed Red Rum, after Big Boogie's crew, Red Rum, just so he could say that he's smoking on that Red Rum pack. And the bigger you get, the bigger the target you become in Memphis. Just a few days after he went back and forth with Shiesty on social media, Big Boogie's concert in Mississippi got shot up. It was the scene of a double murder. 50 shots in total were fired from 5 different guns, hitting Big Boogie's friend Jasmine, who was on stage with him, and she later died in Boogie's arms. Fast forward a few months later to November 6th. Durk and Pooh Shiesty linked up to drop the audio for the song Back in Blood. That's the same day where King Von passed away in Atlanta after an altercation with Quando Rondo outside the Monaco.
Yo, Trap Geek, how you know this shit, bro? Trap Geek got me a detective. Trap Geek just placed a whole murder on this nigga.
For me, bro. You know what happened in the north, bro, when I pulled up, came on your side, bro. You know what happened.
And Pooh is so petty, he even went as far as naming a strain Mississippi got shot in Memphis. Just a few days after he went back and forth with Shiesty on social media, Big Boogie's concert in Mississippi got shot up. It was the scene of a double murder. 50 shots in total were fired from 5 different guns, hitting Big Boogie's friend Jasmine, who was on stage with him, and she later died in Boogie's arms. Fast forward a few months later to November 6th. Durk and Pooh Shiesty linked up to drop the audio for the song Back in Blood. That's the same day where King Von passed away in Atlanta after an altercation with Quando Rondo outside the Monaco hookah lounge. Shiesty and Durk had already filmed the music video back in Chicago, but chose not to release it yet. This was, in many ways, the mainstream's introduction to Pooh Shiesty. A few more weeks went by and the song continued to climb the charts. Then randomly, at 6 in the morning on a Tuesday in December, Shiesty posts this cryptic warning to Facebook. Drop that song and you're not gonna live to see that baby get here. That's when New Year's came around, January 1st, 2021. A Memphis crew called EBG put out a remix to Back in Blood, going after Shiesty, responding to everything he said on the original track. They got Choppa Gang Killer, CGK, on their t-shirts. Pooh responded immediately, saying this had to be the worst move this gang ever made, and that he did 18 million views off of them before he even said their name. The very next day, Shiesty dropped the music video that he filmed with Durk back in Chicago, making Back in Blood the trending topic once again, shooting all the way up the Billboard rankings. EBG's remix was getting taken down left and right due to copyrights, so EBG's main rapper E Jizzle dropped another diss track called Rumors, which ran up in views quickly, hitting 1 million views in less than a week. Then, Jizzle was shot 3 times just days after this second diss track went live.
I bet a man can do this. Man can do this. Who this is? Who? I can't walk. I can't walk. Cool, boy.
3 bullets hit his arm, and and after getting them removed, Jizzle was back on the block wearing a cast, just in time to drop his third diss track called Paralyzed.
Hey, y'all shot the wrong arm.
To add to the unfortunate timing, Pooh Shiesty's brother, who had been on life support fighting for every breath, was pronounced dead just hours before EBG released this new diss. As it stands, the song has nearly 400,000 views in a week. EBG Jizzle went from a couple thousand followers to 50,000 almost overnight, and Memphis has pretty much been in a frenzy ever since. But yeah, man, let me know if there's a video you want me to cover in the comments below. I will see you in the next one.
Retire.
You know what people told me? People told me you and Youngboy was beefing or something like that. You said something about it. What happened?
They be saying that a lot. It's like we got the same interests in hoes, and then you know how the internet will try to make it, but it ain't nothing too serious, nothing that you should worry about.
5 people were shot overnight in downtown Atlanta. 2 of them died, and now investigators are working to figure out what led up to the violence.
Just keep breathing, cuz.
Hold on, you can't move on that.
You got it. My fault.
Yeah.
Man, he shot. What you mean wrong side?
Alright, what's up everybody? We gotta talk about this King Von situation. Rest in peace. It's tragic. Everything that could've went wrong that night. Von was shot in the parking lot of the Monaco Hookah Lounge right in the center of downtown Atlanta after this huge brawl with Quando Rondo's crew and a couple of undercover police. Everything was captured on surveillance cameras with multiple angles, and I've seen so many rumors and fake stories circulating. The stuff about Dirk buying all the tickets to Quando Rondo's next show, news sites posting Snapchats from a fake Quando Rondo account calling King Von Queen Von. That's all fake. We don't have to invent stories. Reality is already crazy. People don't even know. There was almost a second shootout the night Von was killed. After the chaos in the parking lot at the hookah spot, both crews rushed to the hospital and
This thing is telling shit we ain't never hear before. Yo, what the fuck? The second shootout. Is this nigga black or white? We gotta die. That's the important question to ask. If he's white, he's a feds. If this nigga white, he the feds. I ain't gonna lie to you. You telling some shit I'm like, how do you know this? Nigga, I pride myself on knowing everything. This nigga tell me some shit I don't even know.
And went to the same one. That's why Quando Rondo went immediately to Instagram Live when he got to the entrance at the Grady Memorial Hospital.
Just keep breathing, cuz.
Okay, that he's wrong on because this video is old. This part he's wrong. So this video was not the night that Von this was not the night that Von died. This was some other shit.
Come on.
And while they moved Von's body on the highway 8 miles from the hospital to the morgue, Atlanta police were in the very same hospital charging Quando Rondo's boy Little Tim with the murder of King.
Okay, this is also false. They definitely brought Von's body to the, well, he got pronounced dead at the hospital.
Von. Now, not only is Lil Tim fighting this felony murder case, but something people don't know is he's already fighting a conspiracy case in Georgia. After this year-long investigation took down a trap house in Savannah, confiscating 15 pounds of kush, $16,000 cash, and a bunch of guns. And if you're online even a little bit, you've seen the rumors circulating that NBA Youngboy is responsible for Von's death. We saw close NBA Youngboy affiliates going immediately to IG Live as soon as it happened, laughing at Von being killed.
The joke's on you, you diss, now you getting wrapped down. Yeah.
Say that's that Von pick. When I seen it got popped, all I could do was laugh. All I could do was laugh.
Now, we're gonna get into all this, but before we do, check out my song of the day. This is my guy Young Po. Let's go.
This is you. Or at least it could be you.
Over there smoking crack.
That's a video from a year ago of the two of them before a show in Atlanta, cracking jokes and making fun of Von's ops together. But realistically, this relationship was not gonna last. And yes, NBA YoungBoy is involved.
YoungBoy, the YB situation was just too real, just too good. All us got a real bond, so I don't f that music shit, like, you feel me? This shit is way deeper than that.
The reason YoungBoy is mentioned in this is cause he has ties with both Quando and Von. Quando was the first artist signed to YoungBoy's Never Broke Again label. They've been real close ever since, making music, doing shows. They even tag team jumped their own security together. And when YoungBoy was beefing with Kodak Black a couple years back, Quando showed his loyalty by going on IG Live and burning Kodak's merch.
Man, it's up. Man, we on some NBA shit, man. Tell Ethica don't send me this shit no more, man.
He even went to New York and got into a brawl in Brooklyn with Kodak's artist 22G's. According to Tutu, Quando got slapped, people were throwing chairs, it was chaos. Now thankfully, nobody got hurt, but the beef is still on to this day. And YoungBoy's got a huge list of these industry beefs with people he doesn't get along with. One tension that was slowly building behind the scenes was with him and a new artist out of Chicago named King Von.
Fuck YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro. He talking crazy on this man.
Oh yeah?
He ain't even like that. On his ass now. You got cap in your raps.
At this point, Von was just starting to get hot. He had Crazy Story 1 out, the buzz was slowly building. And in March of 2019, Von went on Instagram Live to say that YoungBoy was lying in his raps. YoungBoy fans were quick in the comments, spamming him to apologize or something was gonna happen to Von in 48 hours. Fast forward a couple months to December of 2019. Lil Reese, who's super close to Von, comes out and says he would never do a song with YoungBoy. After fans were asking him for a collab, we could see these lines being drawn real quick between O-Block and YoungBoy's crew 4KT.
What the fuck?
His ex-girl and baby mama Jania. At the same time, Von was tweeting subliminals about posting some other dude's girl doing stuff that would have him stop claiming his kids. It didn't take long for YoungBoy to match that energy and go out and do a song with King Von's ex-girl, Asian Doll. Both of them using each other's girls as props to get at one another. And the whole time, people like 600 Breezy from Chicago were hyping Von up, saying stuff like, I love what you're doing, we know what you're doing, hashtag rapper K. So he's saying rapper killer. Basically, he's cryptically talking about YoungBoy, who then responded indirectly but super directly at the same time by saying, I'm gonna make sure my son F's your daughter since her trolling. Now this tension kept building and building behind the scenes. Von's even got subliminals about YoungBoy on this new album he dropped last month, Welcome to O-Block. On the song Mine 2, Von says outright that he's got beef in Louisiana and the other dude doesn't know it. He's rapping that gangster shit, now he's gotta show him. So when the news hit last month that Von got killed in a confrontation with YoungBoy's artist, theories started to circulate that it was YoungBoy who ordered the hit. 2 days after Von was killed, a fan uploaded an old unreleased song from YoungBoy and titled it like it was a King Von diss called Let Them Shots Off. Now this was pure clickbait, but the video still managed to go to number 8 on trending on YouTube, and it's not about King Von at all. And I saw fans starting to go back into YoungBoy's catalog, reading into his lyrics, looking for clues. One song in particular, they claim predicted Von's death 2 months before it happened. The song is called Dead Trolls, and at one point in the song, YoungBoy talks about planning to rob somebody in Atlanta. He talks about leaving his ops dead and mentions D Rose being away from the Chicago Bulls home. You connect the lyrics, King Von was staying in Atlanta, he got killed in Atlanta. D Rose was a point guard for the Chicago Bulls, but in Chicago Drill, D Rose was an infamous O-Block shooter who got 40 years for a murder. He's been shouted out on numerous tracks by Chief Keef, and even Von, who's got photos side by side with him. And this song Dead Trolls just happened to drop shortly after these photos surfaced of King Von holding hands with Jania, YoungBoy's ex-girl. Now, before we get carried away, no, I don't think this song predicted Von's death 2 months before it happened. I don't think Youngboy cooked up some Louisiana voodoo to make that happen. In reality, the Atlanta line could be about anybody. Half the industry's in Atlanta, and Youngboy beefs with half the industry. Jada Youngin, Fredo Bang, their beefs are well documented. Both of them got tension with Youngboy, and both of them record in Atlanta. So, no, I don't buy it. Truth is, Von's manager says this incident was personal between Quando and Von.
This has nothing to do with Youngboy doing a song with Asian Doll, and that has nothing to do with this, right?
No. This has to do with Von being the person he is, and Ben, he don't like all that sneak this social media stuff.
And as those tensions escalated between both camps, word is Quando had been talking shit behind the scenes about Von for quite some time, to the point where Von said if he caught someone from that camp, he was putting hands on them. And this music industry's small, you're gonna run into people, especially in Atlanta. That's where all the good studios are, producers, label offices. Quando Rondo's from Georgia, Dirk and Von are both based out there too, so this was only a matter of time. Now, the Monaco Hookah Lounge is right in the center of downtown Atlanta. King Von's been to that spot before, it's a popular place, but it's also a red zone for shootouts. 3 people have been killed at this place in the last year alone. That's why there were undercovers patrolling the area that night and at the venue. Now the first reports that came out were confusing.
Oh my God.
And to move with caution around O Block because emotions would be high.
Last night in Atlanta, police shot King Von and 2 of his people. Social media is active with, they're upset with the police. So if we have any jobs in Parkway, send 2 cars. Keep your eyes open, be wary. They're not happy with the police over there.
We later found out 3 separate crews were involved. Von's crew, Quando's crew, and the undercover police. Now, nobody knows what set Von off, but Von's manager says that night he wasn't himself. Von was celebrating his album release at Opium nightclub a few hours earlier. He was supposed to...
Hey, Creator Man, thank you for the donation, bro.
But he suddenly decided to switch routes midway and go to this hookah spot on Trinity Avenue about 10 minutes away. Now, Von cannot carry weapons himself. He's been fighting that case with Dirk in Atlanta for close to a year. They got strict guidelines to follow, but he knows his status. Usually Von travels with 3 to 4 security, a bulletproof truck, and his guys from Chicago. But on this night, he left Club Opium by himself with 1 driver and 1 other car, leaving that fleet of security behind. When Von got to the hookah spot, he waited for 30 minutes in the car, and his security finally got word of his new location change and immediately rushed over to get to him. The whole time, Quando Rondo just happened to be in the same parking lot at that same hookah spot, napping in his McLaren. I know coincidences can happen, but this one's pretty big. What are the chances that King Von randomly decided to change routes and go to a hookah spot where somebody that he doesn't like happens to be at? One of Von's friends spots Quando and goes back to tell Von, and on the CCTV camera we see Quando making his way over to this white SUV, scanning the area cautiously. Shortly after, you see Von leaping out of his own car, going looking for Quando. As soon as Von sees Quando, he starts throwing punches. Von is unarmed, but his crew is swarming Quando quickly. That's when Quando's bro Lil Tim hops out the white SUV, pulls a pistol out, and fires off 5 shots, hitting Von in the chest and thighs. Bullets also graze Von's manager, who is in the mix of it. All hell breaks loose. Von's bro Slutty, who was right next to Von when the brawl started, was the first person to return fire once Von gets shot, hitting Lil Tim in the leg once, but then his gun jams, so he can't finish the job. Now this actually saves Lil Tim's life. Him getting shot in the leg drops him to the ground, making him a non-threat to the undercover police who were creeping around back in the adjacent parking lot. With Lil Tim on the ground and Slutty standing over him with a jammed up Glock, Slutty turns and runs into the adjacent parking lot towards the undercovers, who start ringing off shots and hit both Slutty and another O-Block guy named Louis in the head, killing Slutty on the spot and leaving Louis in critical condition. This whole time, Quando is still tangled up with King Von, who's just been shot a bunch of times and has paralysis in the bottom half of his body. According to Von's manager, Quando was screaming, "Von shot, Von shot," And on camera, it looks like he leans in and holds close to Von, either trying to help him or take his chain. It's hard to say which. But eventually, Von's brother Muop runs over and knocks Quando in the head, separating him from Von, where they can now pick him up and escape in the getaway vehicle. Unfortunately, even though the hospital was just 10 minutes away, doctors could not save his life. And now, we're left in the aftermath.
Yes, sir, man. Recipe King Von, man. Salute.
You're talking about two cliques with huge influence, money, and power. The very next day, we saw 600 Breezy hitting the freeway at 150 miles an hour, leaving Chicago to go to Baton Rouge as a declaration of war with NBA Youngboy's crew 4KT.
We smoke if you really have it. We condone the violence. All you hear is sirens.
Breezy is also openly talking about revenge on socials, leaving kissy emojis underneath Von's killer's IG page. Several days after everything happened, Von's childhood bro, Mimo600, went to Savannah, Georgia to film a music video in Quando Rondo's neighborhood. I think he filmed it in the housing complex close by. Regardless, point is, nobody's squashing nothing. And while Mimo was out there in Quando's neighborhood, this girl DMs him saying they should link up while he's there. After doing some research on the girl, Mimo finds her in a Quando Rondo music video just last year. It was a setup, a backdoor attempt in Quando's home city. And you've heard that theory, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. That's playing out in real time. But it's not just the industry that's affected by Von's death. We can look at the city of Chicago too. This has been the most violent year in Chicago since 2016. And just like when FBG Duck died, one side was laughing. Well, now it's the other side's turn. As these memes of Von packs are being shared all over the internet, diss songs being made, and people close to Duck just showing Von no signs of sympathy. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it for this video. Rest in peace to Von. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.
Okay. Is that it? Yeah, he does pretty good wrap-ups. I like it. He does pretty good wrap-ups. It's almost like documentary style wrap-ups a little bit. That kind of like, you know, tell a little story. So why y'all keep telling me to watch the Houdini one? All right, it's the last one I'm going to watch. Houdini. Let's see. I think I made y'all watch this before, but I wasn't here. So I'm going to get to watch it for the first time. What the fuck?
Because the name ringing bells, design of the G, so design of the bell. He was just like my favorite rapper, literally of anyone. He was my favorite.
When you really think about it, yeah, most artists do get killed in their home city. Mm-hmm. And why do you think that is?
Hatred. People looking at you, saying, I wish that was me.
Bullets sent many fleeing for their lives here on this stretch. Now, the 21-year-old has been identified as a popular Toronto rapper.
Alright, we gotta talk about the Houdini story, right? The jealousy and hatred rappers gotta deal with in their own home city is terrible. And that's a fact in every state in America. But one of the most violent cities right now for up-and-coming rappers to make it out of is Toronto. And people don't realize this. There's a reason Toronto's becoming one of the most surveyed cities in North America. It's looking like Beijing. They're getting cameras everywhere. Only Atlanta, Chicago, and DC got more surveillance per person. And that's because of the ongoing gang war that's been escalating for years, right? It's literally hunting season on rappers. And that's exactly what happened to Houdini. Houdini was sitting down with record labels in LA and New York, collabing with Pop Smoke. This kid was the real deal. Until a couple weeks ago, he was brutally shot and killed in broad daylight in the entertainment district of downtown Toronto. And this shit was surgical. They used Glock 9s with 30-round mags. They took advantage of Corona season by wearing medical masks to hide their faces. There was a 6-year-old kid that got caught in the crossfire, dodging bullets.
That has a high-capacity magazine. It's a 30-round magazine. And as this unfolds, I want you to pay attention to the little boy that ducks into the vestibule here.
The whole thing was nuts, right? And the city is shook right now. Now we're gonna get into all this, but before we do, my song of the day today is none other than Houdini himself. Let's go.
Killing money music, that's like VVVV.
And that's their direct Driftwood. Alright, in order to understand this story, we gotta focus on one hood in particular in Toronto called Driftwood, or Northside Jane and Finch, and this is where Houdini's from. Now, they're by far the most influential in terms of music in the city, but they're also a notorious Crip faction, right? They beef with pretty much everybody in the city. To the south of them, the south side of Jane and Finch, they bang Blood, and that's their direct rivals. The lowest income neighborhood in the city called Regent also has tension with Driftwood, stemming from rap beefs and rap killings. And another area called Rexdale has been Driftwood's rival for damn near a decade now. So they
Yo, this nigga gotta be on the streets, man. This nigga know a lot. Nigga, I've been in Toronto, I don't know this bullshit.
2015, Driftwood kids kinda instilled the Chirac music vibe up in the north, in Canada. They were putting disses to rivals in their tracks and talking about the stuff they were doing in the streets in their lyrics.
If you diss my niggas, then you know we pulling triggers. Late nights with them killers, we kidnapping drug dealers.
Now that song is Robin Banks featuring Pressa. Pressa is one of the few who actually crossed over to the mainstream American scene, and he's actually living in Cali right now in a nice mansion. His rap career popped off for him, but before all that, he was involved in a case where he allegedly kidnapped 2 drug dealers, moving them around from location to location, holding them for ransom, until eventually forcing them to give each other head in front of everybody. 2 dudes, that's crazy.
Chat, this true? I'm about to call Pressa. Is this true? Pressa ain't do no shit like that, did he? Pressa did that? I'm about to DM him. Maybe I shouldn't DM him. Because if you say yes, that's like snitching, right? That's like self-snitching. How do you ask a gangster nigga, like, if he did this shit? Wait, so Pressa kidnapped one nigga and another nigga and forced them to give each other's head? No way. No way. Is anybody from Toronto that can vouch for this? Nigga, I'm talking to Pressa. He seems like the most nicest. Pressa DM me every day. He seems like the nigga. I'm gonna look at my DM. Pressa might DM me good morning. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Nigga, Pressa he's sweet. Not like he's just a nice guy. Let me see here. He did what?
Featuring Pressa. Pressa is one of the few who actually crossed over to the mainstream American scene, and he's actually living in Cali right now in a nice mansion. His rap career popped off for him, but before all that, he was involved in a case where he allegedly kidnapped 2 drug dealers, moving them around from location to location, holding them for ransom, until eventually forcing them to give each other head in front of everybody. 2 dudes, that's crazy. Now, Pressa was later cleared of those charges and granted the court's permission to go on tour with Drake out in England. And another rapper got 6 years in Pressa's place for the charge. Now, Pressa's partner, Robin Banks, who was in that track that I just showed, he was practically the pioneer for the scene, right? He had the torch early on from 2015, and he kind of started this organic hood label in Driftwood, where he was putting on all the rappers from his area. Robin Banks started getting millions of views, caught the attention of Meek Mill, who really rocked with the movement. Meek Mill and Robin Banks were sending paperwork back and forth. He was about to sign a deal with the Dream Chasers, and to celebrate, he was having a party at a hookah lounge called Cameo, where unfortunately his ops found out about it, infiltrated the party, and shot him up 9 times, leaving him in critical condition, just as this man was about to cross over to the US scene. They orchestrated that hit on him. Now thankfully, Robert Banks is alive, but he's paralyzed from the neck down. And his ops were super disrespectful, posting memes of him in a wheelchair and stuff. Now he's still doing his thing, releasing tracks and of course pushing the rappers from Driftwood on his label, but the rivals going after Robert Banks like that really escalated the violence in the city, and it made it kind of a trophy for people to target rappers. This was like the first high-profile assassination attempt on a rapper who was about to cross over. Now the next year, the most influential artist out of the country was Smoke Dawg. Now I'm not from Toronto, you don't gotta be from Toronto to know Smoke Dawg. He was getting co-signed by Drake, doing shows in the UK and the US, and he's from the place called Regent Park. Now this is pretty much the trenches, right? It's the lowest income community in the whole city, but it's not very close to Driftwood, and because of that, they didn't really have too much tension back and forth until one summer night at a club in 2018, Smoke Dawg got into a heated argument with a Driftwood rapper by the name of 21Neat, and this shit escalated quickly, right? They stepped outside where 21Neat shot and killed Smoke Dawg and his manager. Probably one of the most gruesome after death videos I've seen of a rapper, right? People were filming him and Smoke Dawg's brain matter was like leaking on the road. It was a wild scene. Now this pretty much gave Regent the green light to go after Driftwood as retaliation. And this
Wait. I was in Canada where they said, like, right at the place they said Smoke Dawg died at. I thought he got gunned down in broad daylight. He said after a party. Am I tripping? Oh, somebody said it was a day club. So it's a day party. Okay.
Rapper by the name of 21Neat, and this shit escalated quickly, right? They stepped outside where 21Neat shot and killed Smoke Dawg and his...
Wait. Did he just tell us who shot him? Wait, hold up. Write this one down, Chad. What? Wait, hold on. Is this the guy who did this? Wait, no. Is this Smoke? I don't know who's who. Let me just stop. Is the J Neat or the Neat guy, is he locked up?
Regent Park. Now this is pretty much the trenches, right? It's the lowest income community in the whole city, but it's not very close to Driftwood, and because of that, they didn't really have too much tension back and forth until one summer night at a club in 2018, Smoke Dawg got into a heated argument with a Driftwood rapper by the name of 21Neat, and this shit escalated quickly, right? They stepped outside where 21Neat shot and killed Smoke Dawg and his manager. Probably one of the most gruesome after death videos I've seen of a rapper, right? People were filming him and Smoke Dawg's brain matter was like leaking on the road. It was a wild scene. Now this pretty much gave Regent the green light to go after Driftwood as retaliation. And this created a whole bunch of new problems in the city where two neighborhoods that otherwise didn't have too much tension now had maximum levels of tension. And Driftwood didn't really care, like they were welcoming all smoke. Now the Toronto police didn't arrest the rapper 21Neat for quite some time. They couldn't find him. There were even rumors that he escaped to Somalia, but he eventually got found out all the way out in the west coast of the country near Vancouver, where he was extradited back to Toronto to stand trial for the murder of Smoke Dawg. Now this is when the story gets wild because 21Neat has a brother who goes by the name of 22Neat, right? They're both from Driftwood, they're from the same block as Pressa, Robin Banks, they're all homies, which is why it was weird when everyone found out 5 months ago in December of 2019, 22Neat killed his own homie and fellow rapper on their label named YS.
Fucker, in overload. This nigga killed his own homie? What type of fucking savages are these?
If they don't make noise, why bother?
YS had just gotten back from doing a bit in jail, and he was on a bunch of tracks that were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and out of nowhere, the feds found YS's body all the way out on the west coast of the country near Vancouver. And the rumors started circulating that 22Neat, his own homie, was the one who pulled the trigger. Nobody really knows why he did it, but some people say it was over money. That's not been confirmed. Anyways, 22Neat knew there would be repercussions, so he fled to a place called Calgary, Alberta. But he didn't last long. They actually found him dead 2 days later, as revenge for what he did to the homie YS. Now at this point, the city's in crisis, and Driftwood was putting out all this talent, but this horrific stuff kept happening.
Yeah, 30.
The next to pop out of the city was this rap duo formed by two brothers from Driftwood known as the Talib Twins. They had this track with 5 million views that was scorching hot in the city and in the US as well, before one of the twins eventually got locked up. So the other twin decided to keep the momentum going and kept releasing these fire tracks under the name the Talib Twin. In February of 2020, the Talib Twin was at a condo party on the 36th.
Yo, chat, I'm looking at shit like, yo, imagine a fucking cop looking at shit like, yo, we got the fucking case right here. Look at the evidence. It's all over the fucking place.
Second floor of an Airbnb rental when two of his ops infiltrated the party and started opening fire. The Talib Twin fired back and managed to kill both of them before he himself died at the scene. And there's a bunch of speculation as to what happened. I mean, you can't make this shit up, right? Like, some people say he tripped and shot himself, but the feds believe he went into another room in the condo and just ended his own life. Like, the story's crazy, and the thing with Driftwood and the politics in the city is they beef with so many places that sometimes it's hard to say who is responsible for targeting them. They got a lot of enemies. And then of course, at the end of May, the single biggest name out of Toronto who's not Drake or Tory Lanez or The Weeknd was the rapper Houdini. Now, as I said in my intro, this is a kid who is sitting down with record labels in New York and Los Angeles. He was gonna go places. But unfortunately, as the trend is in the city, Houdini was in the entertainment district of Toronto late in the afternoon. And little did he know, there was a Volkswagen Tiguan that was lying in wait on the east side of a street called Blue Jays Way, which is right where he had to go by. They were waiting for a long time, over 40 minutes. And Houdini was with a 15-year-old boy at the time, and they were making their way down the street. And once they got in range of the Volkswagen, a lone shooter got out of the vehicle and started unloading a bunch of clips in Houdini's direction. There was this little kid who was caught in the crossfire, as well as a family. Like, this whole thing is on CCTV footage, right? It's heart-wrenching. And they unloaded a bunch of clips into Houdini, who got hit and kept running, right? Adrenaline, even if you get wounded mortally, you could still run because you got adrenaline. So he was running with a bunch of bullets in his body and then eventually collapsed and died. And the 15-year-old kid who was with Houdini was also strapped, and he was trying to get off shots back at the assailants, and then his gun jammed, right? Which he got rid of in an alleyway and ran away. Now, Meek Mill, Tory Lanez, and a whole bunch of others took to social media to express their condolences as soon as this happened. And you could see just how much the industry was rocking with Houdini. Like, this was a kid who was about to make it. But just look at Toronto. The city is in shambles right now. Like, the retaliation killings have already been ordered. Houdini's own memorial got shot up in this ridiculous video you can see on YouTube. It's like this drive-by style video where out of the darkness, this car pulls up, starts opening fire into a crowd. The whole crowd is strapped up, so they immediately start firing back. But this shit is nuts. I know this happens in the States, it's nothing new, but I'm coining Toronto the city of the fallen rappers because the trend recently of the up-and-coming rappers who are now dead is just unparalleled. Like, you can't compare it. But yeah, man, that's it for this video. Rest in peace to Houdini, gone but not forgotten. Check out his music when you get a chance. And yeah, man, I'll see you in the next one.
Wow. Yeah, I know all that shit. Trap Geek, hit me up, nigga. And look like he takes his time with the videos. He's not spamming videos. He only has about like 16 in like a year. Not bad. Let me see. All right. Let me see the he did one on 6ix9ine. I'm gonna be able to tell if he's capping now. I'm gonna be able to tell if he's capping. All right, here we go. Damn, this nigga be knowing all the information. Remember that shadow name I told you? Yeah. Well,
situation because it is only fitting, it's poetic justice, that in the Chinese New Year, the year 2020 is actually the year of the rat. I know, it's an easy joke, but you know it's perfect because 6ix9ine is scheduled to be released in August, and he's already denied witness protection from the federal government. He's gonna go at it alone. Well, he's not alone. He's actually backed by his label with deep, deep pockets. We're talking about the son of Lucian Grange, a multi-billionaire record label executive. His son owns a label called 10K Projects, and they've already signed a $10 million deal with 6ix9ine. But a lot of this money, we're talking upwards of $2 million, is going directly to private security every year. Because let me tell you, the label and 6ix9ine, they're not taking any chances. This is the Shadow Group. This is like a crew of ex-military, ex-SWAT members. These are the guys who are going to be protecting 6ix9ine, and we're talking about a massive multi-million-dollar job. In this video, we're looking inside the $10 million Shadow Security Group this 6ix9ine is going to be hiring. But first, I have to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, and that's the awesome team over at Grade Miners. Back to the video. So, this is the Shadow Group. It's a high-profile security team. It's basically ex-military, former SWAT members, law enforcement. Most of the time, these guys move around in teams of 2 to 6, armed to the teeth, handguns, assault rifles. They provide daily drivers and driving services. Sometimes they'll be driving in full-on armored vehicles. They will turn downtown Los Angeles into goddamn Baghdad, and it's gonna be dangerous. Now, other things that the Shadow Security Group offer is also bunkering your home, putting in security systems, surveillance. Just look at what happened to Pop Smoke, rest in peace. That targeted home invasion could easily happen to 6ix9ine, especially if he moves to Los Angeles, where home invasions are like a crisis. This is why behind the scenes, a lot of private security firms are denying the 6ix9ine job. They don't want it. In an interview with Complex, a CEO of a private security firm even said, look, this job is kind of crazy. They don't want to pay the high insurance premium that you'll have to pay when 6ix9ine is putting your team into really, really crazy situations. Another question that everybody has is, where's 6ix9ine gonna live? Eventually his address is gonna leak, but for now, we don't know. Let's pull up a map and let's see exactly what the fuck is going on. So 6ix9ine leaves prison in New York. He did the crimes in New York. He also testified and became a witness against a prolific gang in New York. So when he gets out of prison in New York, he cannot live there. That is a dangerous area. Now, it gets even trickier because, as we know, 6ix9ine was a character who pretty much beefed with everybody in the industry. He can't move to Illinois because, as we know, he had a huge beef with people in Chicago, and he went around and he tried to antagonize the situation. People like Lil Reese, they were running after him. That's not a safe place, so he can't go there, he can't live there. He can't move to Texas because he had a big beef with several people in Texas. Someone you don't want to beef with is Jay Prince or anyone in his family, and 6ix9ine did just that. Basically, we're left with California, and California is Hollywood, right? It's the entertainment capital of the United States and of the world. Everybody goes to California to network, to do shows, to record. But the problem is that 6ix9ine, the last time he was in California, spent $100 grand in 10 days on private security. Shit gets expensive. First of all, you pay a premium in California. But second of all, California is also the place where 6ix9ine got shot at while filming a music video. It would probably be quicker to count the states where 6ix9ine does not have beef. And I'm looking at like Idaho. That might be a safe place. But here's the thing. If he went into the witness protection, they probably would have sent his ass to like Montana or South Dakota, somewhere up there where nobody really gives a fuck. But he chose not to accept the witness protection, and instead he's going with private security. And oh boy, nobody has seen a case like 6ix9ine's case, right? 6ix9ine is the first rapper, first person ever to be a witness who's going to re-enter the entertainment industry. That doesn't happen. People who have done that in Mexico have gotten killed. This shit is going to be millions of dollars for 6ix9ine. He could be patrolling around in armored vehicles from event to event. He might be going back to a bunkered down mansion with elaborate electronic systems to keep him protected. And he's also got 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 bodyguards on him that are military trained with paramilitary weapons. You know the label. They're ready to cut that check. That's why they signed a $10 million record deal with him. So the pressure here is all on 6ix9ine. He can't be preaching peace and unity because nobody wants to see that. The shit that's marketable for 6ix9ine is if he goes back to his toxic ways. Or I could be proven wrong. He could become Mother Teresa, preach about, you know, all the mistakes he's made, and maybe he becomes more successful. Who knows? Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. 2020, the Chinese New Year, is the year of the rat. And in August, we'll see exactly what 6ix9ine's gonna do. It'll be interesting. Do you think that 10 armed guards protecting 6ix9ine at all time is overkill? Is that too much? Or do you think it's really gonna be a problem out here for 6ix9ine? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below.
No comment. I got no comment about that. All right. Some entertaining content here. Trap Geeks, salute to you, my brother.